Alrighty, this time we want you to hear amazing testimony from Emma Watson. She's here with her mom, Patty, and Patty's going to come and introduce Emma to us.
This is a 12-year-old girl that's about to talk. Give her a break.
Woo! God bless you!
I have slightly more than just an introduction.
And it's my daughter, Mister.
How would the world be different
God bless
if you weren't in it? Just take a moment to ponder that. How would the world be different if you weren't in it? In the popular Christmas movie, It's a Wonderful Life, the main character, George Bailey, is about to commit suicide on the end of a bridge, and his guardian angel appears to him. And as he's there, he shows him, or George asks him, or tells him, I'm sorry, I'm so nervous right now, excuse me. George says to him, "I wish I'd never been born." And his guardian angel decides to show him what life would have been had he never been born. And the world was a miserable place without him because he had made such an impact. And I've pondered this movie many times just because our special guest today, Emma Watson, we've had to consider what life would be like without her. Nearly 13 years ago, a 16-year-old girl became pregnant. She was unmarried. She didn't have a lot of family support. And so she decided to give her baby up for adoption. And that was this little girl right here. But her plans changed a little bit when she went in for an ultrasound at 20 weeks and found out that her baby had a severe heart condition called hypoplastic left heart syndrome. Basically, she's missing half of her heart. And so they sent her to Salt Lake City for further diagnosis, and when the doctors there confirmed that indeed she had that heart condition, they gave her birth mother three choices. They said, either you can let this child die in your arms naturally, and that'll happen in a couple days after birth, or you can get this very risky surgery, but she'll probably die on the operating table, or you can have an abortion. And so her birth mother, 16 years old and desperate without a lot of help, made the decision to have an abortion. And obviously she didn't go through with it because Emma's standing here today. She said when she woke up that morning, she didn't know, she made an appointment, but she didn't know whether it was an angel or the Holy Spirit that spoke to her, but something said, "Don't do this. God has a very special plan for this child's life." And so she canceled her appointment and ended up going to the adoption agency where we were listed. The couple that she first chose to give the baby up for adoption to backed out when they found out she had a heart condition. So we were blessed to be able to adopt her. And she's been a great gift to our life. She had her first open heart surgery when she was just 24 hours old. And we found out during that hospital stay that not only did she have a heart condition, but she was born with Turner syndrome. And that's a genetic syndrome where she's missing one of her female X chromosomes. She went on to have 4 more open heart surgeries, and she was fed with a feeding tube until she was age 6. She spent 2.5 years of her first 4 years of life in the hospital. And you'd think that a child like that would give in to despair and hopelessness and sadness. But we sat back and we watched as she won the hearts of all the doctors and nurses and everybody that came into her room, the cleaning lady, you name it. She was just happy. She loved going to the hospital because that was where all of her friends were. And we watched as prayers just circled the globe for that little girl and just sat back in amazement that just a little child could spark so many conversations with God. And she has a very simple mind, and she misses out a lot on the complexities of some of the conversations that the rest of us have. But at the same time, she picks up on the simple things that sometimes the rest of us miss. For instance, 6 years ago when Barack Obama was running for president, she was excitedly watching the debates on TV. And she was very, very excited until she found out that he was for abortion. And so she said, "Mom, I'm going to write a letter to him. Sit down and get a pen. I'll talk, you write." So this is just a small line of what she said. She said, "I wanted to vote for you, even though my parents said that I'm too young to vote yet, because I thought your name sounded cool and you have lots of energy like me." Sadly, that's still how a lot of people vote. You said you would do good things for America, but then I found out that you were pro-abortion, and I got to wondering how killing babies is good for America. And just another short story of a time when she was really sick and she was laying on the couch, could barely get off the couch, and I knew she was doing, her heart was in bad condition, and I called her doctor and he said, bring her into the hospital. And I said, Emma, we got to go to the hospital. And she started to stand up and kind of was walking over to get her clothes and just could barely move, but she was mumbling something. And I said, what'd you say, honey? And she said, oh, I was just telling God, not my will, but yours be done. And I thought, oh, okay. She gets what a lot of us miss, just that simplicity, and she has that relationship with God that he hangs out with her and she hangs out with him. And that's just how it is with them. And I just think that this child has experienced more suffering in her short life than most of us will experience in a lifetime. But she's not filled with self-pity and sadness and hopelessness. In fact, she's the life of the party. She always wants to know why everyone's not dancing on the tables with her. She has a fearlessness that most of us yearn for, and she's always in trouble, and she cares less. You know, the deck is stacked against her. She has a heart condition. She has a genetic syndrome, Turner syndrome. She's got learning disabilities, and instead of, you know, folding her hand, she says, deal me the next hand. She wants to find out what's next in life. And when I look at Emma and see all that she's been through, and I see in her eyes not despair and not sadness, but joy, I am reminded that my life has value. Every one of our lives has value, not because of what we can do, but because we were created in the image and likeness of God. He has a special plan for each one of us, a plan that nobody else can fulfill, the weak and the strong. And when those doctors looked at Emma in utero, and they saw nothing but a burden with the severity of her heart condition, little could they have grasped what the world would be like without her. But that begs the question for those of us here today, what would the world be like without, if those 50 million babies who've been aborted were still here with us? How many lives have gone untouched? How many corners of the world have not heard the message that they were here to give? We can't change the past, but we can change the future. And we can stand up today for the dignity of every human being. And so I just wanted to introduce you to Emma. We are blessed. We have 2 adopted kids and 2 natural kids, and we love them all. And I just thank their birth parents every single day for the gift of their life. So Emma wanted to talk to you today because she wanted to, it's hard to look at this and see a blob of tissue or a child that wasn't wanted, that unplanned pregnancy that should have been aborted. That's easy to say when they're in the womb, but it's hard when you look in this face. And so she just wants to give you a glimpse of life through her perspective.
What do you see when you look at me? Almost 13 years ago, lots of doctors didn't see what you saw. They saw someone who was defective and probably wouldn't survive after I was born. I spent a lot of time in the hospital, and when I was little, and I had 5 open heart surgeries because, like what my mom said, I have hypoplastic left heart syndrome and lots of other stuff. Even though I was sick a lot, I had a lot of fun in the hospital with nurses and doctors and anyone else who came into my room. I got to watch a lot of TV. Those doctors didn't count on me being such a spitfire. They said I would never talk, but I haven't stopped talking since. to 10 now. I didn't walk till I was 2.5, but my parents have a hard time keeping up with me. I may not be the fastest runner or the smartest kid because but I feel blessed because I get to show others that life isn't all about fitting in. It's about being the best person that God made you to be and enjoying life. I like to babysit, play volleyball, and read. Is my life all roses? No way. I am a wild child. I get into trouble a lot. And I'm definitely allergic to chores, especially doing dishes and pulling weeds. I have to take a lot of medication and get shots every day to help me grow. But they are not so bad because they keep me healthy. Sometimes I get jealous of teens my age because it seems like they have a perfect life. But you can't have a pity party. You gotta roll with the punches. The doctors that told my birth mom to have an abortion did not think my life had any value. But the other doctors I went to gave me hope and love and are like a second family to me. I had parents that love me, 2 sisters and brothers that love me, and I love them too, even though we sometimes fight a lot. I'm so thankful that my birth mom gave me life. Because now I believe that miracles really can happen because my life is a miracle. And I know that when God told my birth mom to not have an abortion and that He had a special plan for me, He really did. My plan is to tell people my story and help save lives of other babies born with disabilities and to help other people have joy when they are suffering. I totally believe in a woman's right to choose whether or not she puts her baby up for adoption, but not whether or not she has an abortion. It's God's choice to take the baby to heaven, but not ours. And there are lots of couples who want a baby but can't have them and would raise a child with disabilities like my parents did. I'm thankful for my birth mom who gave me up for adoption and hope there's someone out here who will hear my talk and change their mind about having an abortion, or some doctor who will change their mind and start believing that every life has value. Thank you for coming today to stand up for life and allowing me to tell my story. God bless.